Today we are starting off with this kind of updated build of Portent Eldrazi, and sometimes updates are really exciting, sometimes they're not. This one is really, really exciting, I think. So, in it, I wanted to lean a bit more into the let's win the game when we cast a Portent of Calamity thing, because we're going to have like more high impact Eldrazi. I started off with Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, a few different builds, some Through the Breach builds, and then I've been wanting to circle back to Archway of Innovation plus Tamiyo meets the Story Circle for a little while. We played one deck with these two cards before. It was a Dimir Goryo's deck where we were trying to either just hardcast Emrakul the Aeon's Torn or Goryo's Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. So if you're unfamiliar with these cards, these are kind of more obscure Image 3 cards. Tamiyo Meets the Story Circle is a 2-mana saga. Chapter 1, until your next turn, whenever a creature attacks you or Planeswalker gets -2/-0. Then Chapter 2, discard, and this is what you want. Discard any number of cards, then investigate twice for each card discarded this way. So for each card you discard, you get 2 clue tokens, which you can use to cast something really big via Archway of Innovation. A blue and a tap, the next spell you cast this turn has Improvise. Now, unfortunately, Emrakul the Aeon's Torn costs too much mana. Hold on, Esther's yelling at me. Hold on, one second. I'm streaming, sweetie. What are you saying? Alright, Bizarra, 43 months. Thank you, welcome back. Appreciate you. Okay, so Emrakul the Aeon's Torn costs too much mana. In order for you to improvise an Emrakul the Aeon's Torn out, you would need either land number 3 plus 7 clue tokens, which is 7 cards, or you would need 8 cards discarded. That is more cards than you're going to have, even if you're on the draw. However, Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, Emrakul the Promised End, requires 5 cards to discard to cast these cards on turn 3 if you have Archway and Tamiyo in your opening hand. This is really dang doable, and these cards don't win the game quite as often as Aeon's Torn, but still pretty dang often. They're also very good hits off Portent of Calamity. Also, Portent of Calamity is also a good thing to improvise out. You can just sink the improvised mana into your Portent for a lot of mana. You could also do it into a Kozilek's command for a ton, and then a lot of times if your Kozilek's commanding for a lot, you do need a Temple or a Labyrinth, but if you're doing this for a ton, then you can also find an Emrakul or Ulamog. And so, like, the way this deck works is your nut draws have Archway and Tamiyo, right? And what's kind of nice about this is Archway is just a land. It's just a land that if it's in your opening hand, you draw it. You have the potential to later draw a Tamiyo Meets the Story Circle and win the game. But otherwise, you're just kind of like the normal Portent deck, where you're like ramping with Talismans, you're ramping with Labyrinth, you're casting Ring, you're interacting with Force of Negation and All Is Dust. And eventually you'll be able to either just hard cast one of these. These cards are actually pretty hard castable. Or you'll be able to like just cast a bigger Portent into it. We're not so in on Archway Tamiyo, but what's cool is this gives us some nut draws that just kind of effectively win the game turn 3. The big downside is that if you draw Tamiyo Meets the Story Circle without Archway of Innovation, you're like, this card kind of doesn't do very much. Does not do very much. But I think that is, the price you have to pay to hard cast big Eldrazi on turn 3. Let's see, is there anything else? I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and get in there. So you want to make a bunch of clue tokens and improvise Ulamog GG. Yeah, that is the plan. Bizarro, the 43 months. Thank you, welcome back. Appreciate you. Okay, kind of an interesting opener. It is usually hard to mulligan Ugin's Labyrinth hands. I also like that we have the Archway of Innovation, so if we draw Tamiyo Meets the Story Circle, we have the nuts, we have a Force of Negation for some interaction. I'm going to go ahead and click the keep button. A lot of our draws get improved with this keep, although we are on the draw. I hope he gets a Skirk Prospector here. A little surprising to see that one. Alright, let's go ahead and play this tapped. We may just go Archway tapped into Lab Ring, saving Force for like a Chthonian Nightmare or Aether Vial, whatever their non-creature card is. Oofda, 39 months. 39 months is still no Tribal Frog deck. Yeah, maybe one day. Could this deck splash green for more cheap artifacts, food tokens, and skip Labyrinth? So, you could. The problem is, your deck is, I think, a lot worse if you are trying to, like, be all in on Archway of Innovation. Because, like, I meant to say this, I guess, in the deck tech, but the thing about Archway of Innovation that is good, or has, like, the potential to be good... do I ever want to just kill this? I don't think so. The potential that the entirety of Archway of Innovation's potential kind of is that it can cast a big thing on turn 3 with that always happens, I feel, with Tommy Meets the Story Circle. Trying to just slowly, over the course of several turns, make a bunch of food tokens is not a good plan. It's just not a good plan. So yeah, I don't think you should do it. It's like, it's, you know, it's just like, it's just so slow. And is also very weak to Wrath Disguise. Yeah, so our opponent has infinite red mana, and they can cast the Kiki Jiki. Can improvise tap for colorless mana on Kozilek's command. No, so yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, is that the improvise can only be tapped for generic mana cost. It cannot be tapped for colorless mana cost. At least that's my impression. Expedition map to find Archway and improvise. So again, this is what I'm trying to convey to you. Listen closely. Adding like shitty 1-mana artifacts to improvise is not a thing in this deck. That is not a good reason. You could maybe play Expedition map. I think I'm more okay just playing like a higher quality overall. But it is not like a shitty 1-mana artifact to improvise is not a thing. We're casting 10 drops, baby. We have to make 10 artifacts. Just playing these cards is not this is not the way you do it, I would think. All right, Remolo to Trem, thank you, welcome back. Appreciate Jim. I just love a nice feature of Jack. Yeah, I understand, but it's just too slow. It's just too slow. Archway is really only good if you go Tamiyo meets the Story Seeker on turn 2, or it's only like really ever going to be explosive that way. There's not like another card or another plan unless you're like some kind of weird affinity deck that lets you be really in on this, you know. And so you don't, you don't want to just put a bunch of cheap artifacts in your deck to improvise because the card quality is really low and this stuff is like too expensive. What is our opponent doing? We're not deterministically dead here. Like it kind of seems like they're just planning to like cast the Kiki Jiki. Thank you, Michael, to 2 years. Let's go. Appreciate you. They just have a Sling Gang in their hand. Do they play Fireball? Usually what they'll do is they'll Sling Gang Lieutenant or something to that effect. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. Down a game against Goblins. Let's cut these Force of Negations. Let's bring in the extra Dismembers and the extra Awless Dusts. I don't think Consign does anything. Let's click submit. Why didn't they cast that earlier? I mean, if I had Dismember, then it was like a little awkward. Yeah, they have a lot of ETBs. I'm not gonna bring in Consigns though. So I guess we're gonna need to mulligan maybe aggressively to Archway Tommy. Although you can't really mulligan like 6 cards on the play works, 5 cards on the draw. I think if you have Archway Blue Source meets the Story Circle, big stuff, but can't mulligan too aggressively is one problem with the combo. Cool to see people trying Goblins again. I mean, we're trying it with Nightmare in the deck, which was like, it seemed pretty good, but seemed pretty dang slow. And a lot of decks like this are just very weak to energy. All right, so mulligan that 1-lander. This hand, you know, this is one problem with the deck. When you draw Tamiyos without Archway, it's pretty bad. I will say that we could just keep a put back that meets the Story Circle and just, you know, have a Dismember hand. Drawing a Talisman or an Ugin's Lab would be pretty ideal. We have 10 of those in the deck, although we only have just 1 look at those here. I think this is better than going to 5. You could go to 5 here, maybe. Dismember is such a premium, though. They could have put this Singing on the stack going up for response. Yeah, they could have. Right, so they have a Thoughtseize. Opponent, roll to 5. They take the Dismember, so yeah, probably has a Snoop. Be cool if we get turn 3 comboed through Dismember. I guess while Tamiyo meets the Story Circle, we may be cracking some clues. We may be cracking some clues. We'll also draw Archway off the top. Right? that is about as dead as any card gets in any matchup. About as dead as any card gets in any matchup. I'm gonna Island Cycle. I'm gonna play this out. Let's see if, despite them having a Fatal Push and despite them rolling to 5, we'll see if they just have a Harbinger. They need land Harbinger as 2 of their unknown 3 cards. One of them is a Skirk Prospector. Okay, so we will need a... I'm going to shuffle any of these in. I think I'll shuffle the Ulamog and the Dismember back in. And just slamming the ring. We are their combo can beat us here by killing us on our upkeep. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Goblin Ringleader on top, so they can sack the Prospector to cast that. Their hand is Fatal Push, 2 mystery cards. They're tapping for black. Do they have the Harbinger? They're sacked the Prospector. Seems like they're casting Ringleader here. They are casting Ringleader. So, at least 1 brick. They reveal 4 non-goblins. Well, Goblin Ringleader, it was nice while you were kind of a modern card. We respect your service. You've done a lot for us over the years. We're very proud of you. But unfortunately, it's time for you to go. Alright, so I want to play Tamiyo Meets the Story Circle this turn, but I guess I can go Tamiyo Meets the Story Circle into exile the Snoop and then make spawns, and then I can also have Dismember up. So I'll make the spawns, I'll exile your Snoop, I'll have Dismember up, and the next turn we can cast Emrakul. Someone remind me to bring in the second Gemstone Caverns on the draw. Alright, Munitions Expert. It's about as good as this card is going to get in this matchup. Their hand is Fatal Push. Mystery card? No attacks with the Ringleader. They are committed to this being a 4-mana do-nothing, I tell you what. Alright, so we'll tap this 1 ring so we can have juice to discard here. Although there's a Portent. So I guess I'm going to go discard 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it seems like it'll be better for me to improvise out Portent instead, because this will give me an Ulamog, probably. Portent for 12. Oh, no Ulamog, but we can Emrakul anyways, so okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can I also get this? Pretty dang cool. Alright. This is coming in. I think I'm going to cut a Lrien Revealed draw. With this deck, 1 Gadgeteer to sack clues for cheap. So Gadgeteer would require you playing a lot of cheap artifacts. And so it's like, I think you have to build a deck like this. You can build this Archway Eldrazi deck in 2 ways. You can build it in a like an affinity style way with like Urza and Gadgeteer, and when you do that, like these cards are like pretty dead in your hands. Maybe you could still pitch them to Ugin's Labyrinth. So that could be okay, but you're just really weak to Wrath Disguise in that build. But in this build, because you're playing Eldrazi Temple, you're playing Kozilek's Command, you just are going to cast these. You're just going to cast these, and then your Portents are also like a little bit more castable too. And your card quality is higher and you're harder to interact with is my my general impression of trying to build a deck that way. So we have that Gemstone Cavern, and we have Tamiyo Archway of Innovation. We don't have a island for Archway to enter untapped, and we don't have something super good to put into play off of this, but I'm definitely excited about this start. I think I'm going to pitch the Labyrinth here, since I I'm gonna have to discard a lot of cards to my Tamiyo meets the story circle. I think it makes sense for me to. Um, Sorry, maybe I was supposed to play Archway this turn. I'm not going to be pitching anything to the Labyrinth, probably. So this is a turn 3. This is going to be a turn 3 Emrakul cast, I believe. Although maybe the Gemstone Caverns changes the math, and then I also played an extra land out. Maybe I want the Portent then. Although I need the extra blue mana. So if I discard 1, 2, 3, then I'll have 6 improvised mana plus 2 plus. So that's 8 total, and then I'll have artifact, enchantment, sorcery, creature. So I guess I'll be 1 mana short, but let's be 1 mana short. Possibly, I'll sack a clue end of turn. Is an Archway tapped? Yep. Talking about next turn. Okay, so this is 6 plus. I have 8 mana. This costs. Oh, this costs 10. Yeah, let's go and just sack a clue. I'm not sure what my opponent's draw is doing. Oh, sorry. I counted the Tamiyo, then I uncounted it. So 5 plus 3 is 8. This costs 9. Getting some lag here. So I'm gonna sack the clue because we could just discard whatever we draw to Tamiyo meets the story circle, although discarding Kozilek's command will not feel super good. Yeah, there's a good chance. Yeah, I think you might be right. They might have thought that this was a mounted and they thought they could cast Snoop. Certainly their draw is not very functional here. 6, 8, 9, or 6. I'm just trying to think if we can keep the Kozilek's command. Yeah, I can, because this is another type in the yard. Well, my opponent can't cast any spell, so not the most impressive Emrakul ever. I could discard one of these to val for hand size. I guess just second Snoop probably. I could exile the other one. Given the top of the meta looks like energy and some Murktide variants, do you think Hammer could sneak its way back into flavor? Well, it's very funny that because it's like the reason like Murktide used to be favored against, or Hammer used to be favored against Murktide is that they're like a red removal deck. And like Hammer is way better against the Lightning Bolt on Holy Heat deck than the Fatal Push deck. Fatal Push is that still kills the creature even if the Hammer is on it. Okay, let's keep this hand. Sir McLoser, thank you for the 5 months. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you. So we draw Archway, then we'll play Tamiyo next turn. Otherwise, we're gonna command for 2 probably. Infect, guys. I've been unironically thinking about Infect lately, but also not an archetype I believe in. So let's see what they get. If they're looking like living in, we would maybe Kozilek's command later for Graveyard Hate. Looks like they're Dimir Frog. I'm just gonna go ahead and cast this now. Just thinking if I want to keep the Talisman or not. Let's not. Okay, Emrakul. Well, I guess now we don't really we didn't really care if they counted the Tamiyo meets the story circle. Now we drew the Archway of Innovation. Now we do care more. We'll see what they do. I also need to. Okay, they didn't counter it, but if I discarded Lrien Revealed, Emrakul would have cost 9 out of 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I drew like Temple, we'd have. If I cycle Lrien Revealed and we drew Temple, we'd be able to cast Emrakul next turn. But now things are looking really nice. You need to be careful about giving infect players false hope. I know. One of my best friends is the man I asked to officiate Esther and I's wedding is an infect player. I know all too well. So I'm going to cycle the Lrien Revealed to get. Well, I guess I still get the extra type in the yard if I just by discarding it. I get to thin my deck a little bit. Ooh, you know what card is not good against a resolved Emrakul? Psychic Frog. Just discard the whole hand. Well, I guess. So okay, so I'm going to get to discard 1, 2, 3. I think it should be easily enough. Maybe I should be double checking, but I don't think we're short here, especially with the Eldrazi Temple. More next spell has Improvise. Yeah, wait, we have like 4 extra mana. We can Ulamog next turn also. Okay, opponent just lets that happen. Things are looking pretty cool, pretty good. Let's bring in some Dismembers. We should have 3rd Dismember for Harbinger. Although, you know, what's kind of nice about Harbinger, right, is we're a blue deck, so can just still kind of do our thing. Can I bring in another one of these? I think I don't want any Force of Negations. I do think I want at least 3rd All-Is Dust. Could play the 4th All-Is Dust. Maybe over a Ulamog. I think that looks okay. Yeah, I really love that we just have this kind of like almost 2-card combo. Obviously, you need a big thing to cast, but this deck is like so full of the big things. In addition to just being, you know, kind of like this other shell that we've done a lot with and we've liked. Wait, hard to mulligan turn 1 Talisman with a Kozilek's command ever. Spike, you like the new Ulamog? That card's okay. I think it's worse than the old Ulamog and the old Emrakul in this deck, because what we really want these creatures to do is stabilize, and the new Ulamog doesn't exactly stabilize super well against a lot of board states, but it could be right to place like that card somewhere in the 75. So I do want to get my island here so that possibly my Archway of Innovation could enter untapped. Although maybe that's a flawed thinking, because I also might just want to hardcast Lrien Revealed. Next turn. I think I won't, because that would be too weak to Orcish Bowmaster, so we'll go ahead and just cycle this. And then we can do a check for Force of Negation. Hopefully we pass this check. Failed the check. That's not so good. Null Drifter not good enough for this list. I had Null Drifter in my initial draft. Null Drifter is fine. Definitely fine. The big problem with that card is it's not like super good to improvise out. It's kind of like a mediocre thing to improvise out. And so I had it for a while, and I just like this would be better if this was like another Ulamog or Emrakul basically every single time. There wasn't like really a board state where I felt like that wasn't the case. So now I have to decide what's scarier for me, the frog or the merfolk. I think it's the frog. I just cannot beat the frog. I have Sink into the Stupor to deal with this Harbinger. You can bounce the frog. I can also bounce the Harbinger when I need to cast something big. I'm also like 1 talisman away from just kind of being able to cast all of my spells, you know. And if the extra card every turn is like, is that not just like really unbeatable? It seems really unbeatable to me. So if I bounce the Harbinger, I'd have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if I pitch the Ulamog. Seems like I should probably wait. So I'm down to 8. And we still get to play this card in Modern. Let's go ahead and play around Spell Pierce. Not too surprising, I guess. Is a new Kozilek a good stabilizer in this? I don't think so. I don't really. It's not better than the other cards, you know. Okay, so I guess the plan is play Talisman, sink into the Stupor. We'll just do that main phase. Sink the Harbinger, and then put Allah's Dust into my hand in response to them casting the Harbinger, and then we can cast the Allah's Dust. Did we build around Archway, or is it another great utility land to cast Eldrazi? So Archway is kind of like a 2-card combo card in this deck. If you have Archway and Tamiyo meets the Story Circle, you can cast a big Portent, a big Kozilek's command sometimes, a big Emrakul, a big Ulamog on turn 3. It's kind of a combo card in this deck when you have exactly Tamiyo meets the Story Circle. There also is not like there's not a better way to build around it in Modern. You know, there's not like another. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess I can still cast this All This if I brick on a land, but it seems like I should try to draw a land to hardcast this Ulamog, but instead we drew Portent. Let's just go ahead and slam it and hope for the best. My opponent's hand is Harbinger Mystery Card. Is that Mystery Card another counterspell? Hopefully not. What is the advantage there in waiting to return from lab? Is there ever a case you're not doing that? Playing around Thoughtseize. If my opponent doesn't cast Harbinger, I'm not doing it. There's plenty. I think they're gonna cling to dust here. Yeah, I think there are plenty of spots where we literally didn't like you watched a game where us waiting on the Ugin's lab paid off. So hope that helps. Okay, so they need to find Spell Pierce or Force of Negation off this cling to dust. They don't, and then we do get to cast an Ulamog here. So let's pick Ulamog, the One Ring. Tamiyo meets the Story Circle. And I guess we'll do Archway of Innovation. Click Done. Click Cast. And I'm going to exile both of your creatures. I think that's more important than the lands here. So my opponent's hand is Harbinger, Mystery Card, Mystery Card, Mystery Card. There comes the Harbinger again. Faded the double Bowmaster. Let's see, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's see, does my ring resolve? If it doesn't resolve, I can't attack. It does resolve, and now it seems like just 2 Ulamog attacks is going to get the job done. Sure. I'll take that deal. Things are looking pretty good. If it didn't resolve, you'd still have Chapter 1 of Tamiyo Meets. No. If it didn't resolve, you'd still have Chapter 1 of Tamiyo Meets. Oh, Chapter 1 that to stop the Harbinger attack. Right, yeah. I'll be honest, I may continue to forget about Chapter 1. I'm just so locked in on Chapter 2. But yeah, good to remember. Here we are. All right, 2-0. Good start. Let's go. My opponent's revealed Gigantha, so we're likely up against Energy or Storm. If it's Storm, this Force of Negation is makes this hand a premium. If this is Energy, this hand is just kind of too slow. My opponent's on a mulligan. I'm going to join them on the mulligan here. And then be pretty happy that I took this mulligan. Let's go ahead and put back... Let's put back Basic Island just in case they are Storm. It is also possible that if they are Energy, there are Force of Negation targets, Blood Moon, the Ring, so maybe it's just even correct anyways. Nice to have the blue card. So glad you picked up Blue Eldrazi. I mentioned how it wasn't a deck in chat the other day. I mean, we've had this is our 5th or 4th Blue Eldrazi build. We had one that was in on Elder Deep Fiend and Hope Ender Coatl, and we had like a pretty good record with that deck, and we've had several Portent builds. I've been working on it, I promise. Looks they're Mardu instead of Boros, which is better for us since no Blood Moon. Any updates on the Woodlands deck from yesterday? Not yet. I don't know. I still want to like play some more of that deck off stream, I guess. That was again one of those decks where I had a really good experience with it off stream. And then on stream it didn't go so well, so I do kind of just need to regroup a little bit on that one, I guess. So we can find another big Eldrazi we can cast at this turn. We don't have quite enough mana to put Ulamog back into our hand in this spot, although... Why would I say no to one of these, huh? Sandwich with the 23 months. I hope that you're doing well. Fatal Push is a token. One kind of annoying thing about Modern on Magic Online is when you have spawn tokens against energy, you can't F6 because you need to be able to like negate a Bowmaster or a Discharge. It's not the biggest thing. Not the biggest thing. We're improvising today? Yeah. We've been improvising already a little bit today. I think we've had two Archway of Innovation Eldrazi cast already. Today's been going a lot smoother than yesterday. Shame Breaker of Creation couldn't make the list, but it's because Improvise can't perfect us. Yes, that is why we're not playing Breaker of Creation. You cannot improvise into it. I certainly, my heart hurts that that's the interaction. How has Modern been feeling without Nadu and Grief? I guess in a word, good. In more words, it is kind of all over the place as you might expect. Do I care about exiling the Sajani? I don't know that I can care very much about it. I could just Ulamog it next turn. Weird. Yeah, I feel like yesterday's decks were solid. This one feels a bit more jank. I think that this one is a lot less jank than it looks at first glance. I agree that it looks kind of jank. But really it's like Tamiyo meets the Story Circle is kind of like the only like really weak link, since like Emrakul and Ulamog are just actually very hard castable on this list. Like we're just gonna hard cast it next turn. But I agree that at first glance it looks kind of like what is happening. But I agree that yesterday. I mean, we had one good league with the Dimir Frog deck, so it's not like yesterday was like a complete bust. But I thought that mono green deck was like super good in testing. It was like I thought like when I was testing it off stream, I thought it was like one of the most promising things I had played in a long time. And then after playing it on stream, I just have no idea anymore. So we'll try to circle back. But it's like our card quality is just really dang high overall. It's like we have four Tamiyo meets the Story Circle. This enables our nut draws if we draw an Archway, and if we don't, we just have so many draws if we don't. We just have a lot of like other plans, if that makes sense. So against Mardu, they're not going to have Blood Moon or even Ring, so I think I could just cut all these Force of Negations. Against Boros, you probably want to keep some in. I also want to play Chalice against like energy decks in general. I think I'm okay to cut an Ulamog. I think Emrakul's better in the matchup. I don't think I want the Dismembers. Yeah, I know Tamiyo Chapter 1 is relevant against them. Wada, the 12 months. Thank you, welcome back. Doing my best. I had some small success last night with Blue-White Miracles going 3-0-1. Can I share with you? Yes. And may this comment be a glowing, shining example of pitching a deck. Not, Spike, can I show you my deck? I don't know what you're going to show me. I don't know if I want to see it. Quite frankly. You got to pitch. You got to pitch. This is a business meeting. A wonderful pitch. With the deck ready to go. We're getting thought seized. Ooh. Okay, Orange. So you're playing Scepter Chant. I'm a big Scepter Chant hater, but I'm glad that it's working well for you. I'm a big Timeless Dragon hater. I'm glad it's working well for you. I also don't like Snapcaster if you don't have Flame of Anor. Oh, you're not playing Chant. You're not playing Scepter. You're just playing Orange Chant. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. You have the Japanese Narsets. I don't know if I like Tamiyo here either. It's just like there's just so many questions, but I'm glad it's. I mean, Tamiyo, I guess, with Brain Surge is pretty good, huh? Maybe it's fine, but a lot of question marks, you know, and not a lot of answers. I think. Like you're playing a lot of creatures. Like you've got Harbinger of the Seas, Snapcaster Mage, Tamiyo, Timeless Dragon. All of these are pretty bad with the Oh, come on. All these are pretty bad with all of these sweepers. Which is why I think you should probably just lean more into Jace as your chosen win condition. Maybe I should have played Archway tapped here. I was thinking that maybe if they like Blood Moon, I'd want to put this back into my hand. 4, 5, 6, 7. We're not like too far away from hardcasting this Ulamog either. Would Junk Winder fit in the deck you're playing? No, I mean it would be a very different build. It would be like the bad build, honestly. I've been kind of saying that there are two ways to build this deck. You can build the deck this way, or you can build a deck where you're like Affinity and you're just like you're less consistent, more fragile, and slower if you're playing Affinity. It's just always such a tough sell to be more in on that style of build for me. Okay. So we want to draw a Ring, Kozilek's Command, Portent of Calamity. And did not find any of those. Oh, All is Dust was the other one. So a lot of good hits here. Been playing one Inbringer and Eldrazi Temple. It's been working for me. Kills Pride. Pretty castle when you don't have Tron. I really hate 6-drops though. Like just like the fact that the 6-drops don't pitch to Labyrinth is so awkward. All is Dust, Portent, the One Ring, Kozilek's Command. That's kind of it. They've got one card in their hand. Maybe we've got 2 turns. All right, maybe we've got more than that. I might put Ulamog into my hand. Okay, now I'm much less likely to. So this costs 10, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 with the Archway. So we would need to draw a Temple or Lab plus Imprintable to cast Emrakul next turn. We also have All is Dust, Portent, Rings, all that stuff. Down to 11. Recount my mana. I still have 9. That's bad. Looking for a Kozilek's Command. Things are going pretty well today, huh? So I'm going to be using this almost entirely as a life gain spell. Going to make 2 blockers and exile a creature. Whatever creature they give me. If my opponent has nothing, they might give me back this Talisman also, so that they can jump with Guide of Souls. Looks like they're considering it. That is what they do. Why am I so cold on New Imri? Just curious. I think New Imri is very good. I am not cold on it. I just because it's not in this deck doesn't mean I don't like it. It is that in this deck you need to play Emrakul and Ulamog because the like 12 mana Emrakul and 15 mana Emrakul are too expensive. You need to play the ones that you can. You basically have like exactly 10 mana when you Archway on turn 3, and which allows you to cast these and not that one. Maybe that was a good spot to play Saga. Yeah, maybe Saga was better. I again, chapter 1 is something that I'm like a little bit blanky on still. Especially with the Archway too. Yeah, I guess playing Tamiyo just to like fog for the turn was good. This also ends up kind of playing basically the same. So I'm down to 9. I may just not tap my ring anymore. Because like, if they have Static Prison for the Ulamog, it kind of stinks, but I should just be able to, most of the time, all is dust next turn, and then attack for lethal. Yeah, I was playing around drawing Kozilek's command, but I guess keeping a blue up was better, because this was the better hit. Play against someone less who's building around the card Aether Revolt. Aether Revolt's pretty cool. It's pretty, powerful with Greenbelt Rampager. I do agree that card has some potential. Well, so they need Orcish Bowmaster, right? Maybe there's another card here. Sorry, overtapped by 1. I think we're just gonna get him here though. Okay, we are 3-0. Let's get a. You had to pay 2 blue for Lrien. Well, I had a talisman I could have left up as the blue mana, and I tapped that instead of a temple. Why would you play Terminus in a Wrath the Skies world? So it almost feels like you have a reason to play Temporal Mastery instead of a reason to, don't really have a reason to play Wrath the Skies. I think I'm supposed to put back Archway of Innovation so I can just have all untapped lands, have a gigantic Kozilek's command for I guess X equals 3 or X equals 2 if I play Talisman next turn. Would have been nice to be on the play. Another imprintable. Yeah, no VIP slots left, unfortunately. We'll need like 1,000 more subs or something. Okay, so if I imprint Emrakul, I'll have 5 mana. I Kozilek's command, make 3 spawns. Yeah, I think it's gonna be better to play Talisman and then X equals 2. And I also think I'm mostly gonna just try to ignore this and try to like either find a portent, find a ring, find potentially we could hardcast one of these next turn also, since we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so we could go like Temple Ulamog next turn. Something along those lines. I guess we'd also hardcast Force on a Blood Moon. Could also find Allah's Dust. Opinion, Timeless Energy, is it better to not play Flage and be able to play Lurrus, or just play Flage? So if you play Lurrus, you need to play like probably main deck Graveyard Hate for Flage, or maybe Swords of Plowshares. Maybe also like the real answer is, I'm not really sure. I don't play a lot of Timeless these days, but Lurrus is pretty busted. It is kind of metagame dependent. It's kind of dependent on like what is better in the mirror match. There's a chance that the Flage gives you more inevitability than Lurrus does. Unsure. All right, take the Portent. Feeling pretty good. Huh. So that is an interesting draw. I think I'm going to cast Portent instead of All is Dust, and I do think it is kind of close because we have 2 Emrakuls exiled, and Emrakul is the best hit, but we just hit 1 anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Cast Emrakul. Force of Negation up. Nice. So I guess it's better for me to play the Arena of Glory and exert it this turn, so they can't exert the Flage next turn with it. Which is kind of funny. And then we bolt our own thing. Pay all the energy. Send this cat to heaven. Yeah, Saga also making the Portent more consistent is pretty nice. Absolutely. Oh, did I not play? I could play my Otawara there. Either up for energy. I mean, I just spent all the energy. I don't need to do anything else. You know, as unsmoothly as yesterday went, uh, today has been going like as equally smooth. And that's modern. That's modern. You can prep, you can brew as much as you want, but if you're, curving out and draw the nuts, your opponents just aren't quite. That's the best place to be, baby. Oh right, sorry, I forgot that the arena gets unexerted on their extra turn, so I guess I wasn't supposed to play it. Oopsie doopsie. And yeah, and then you have chatter saying this deck just seems broken. This deck just seems broken. This deck does seem pretty good. I agree, but this is definitely what you want as a streamer to have like the first like 3 matches go pretty well. Wish me luck taking Omni-Will into RCQ weekend. Good luck. Hope it goes well. All right, so they're going to be able to get up to 15, a little bit out of Emrakul range. Did you just say exerted? Yeah, you exert Arena of Glory. I exerted it when I mind controlled them because I was thinking it would still be tapped on the Flage turn, but that's not the case. No, it was. They played the ring and I countered it. Yeah, but then they got to untap it for the Flage. Oh, like I guess they needed to draw the land for the ring. Guess that was the upside. Seeing the Stupor is pretty painful. I don't think it's something we really love to have. Now, Force of Negation is more important against Boros than it is against Mardu because they have Blood Moon and they have Ring, although I don't think we care that much about the Ring. Chalices, also especially being able to play turn 1 off Caverns, should be pretty good. So making 5 cuts might be kind of difficult. I think I want to go like -2 Ulamogs, -1 Force, -1 Portent, -1 Tamiyo. Tamiyo's also like the ability on Tamiyo is pretty good. Maybe I should like cut a Talisman instead. But the Talismans are pretty good against moons. All right, let's pitch a Force since we have 2. Talismans are good against against moon. That one seems okay. I think I'm probably just going to cast that X equals 3 next turn. We'll see, though. Seems worth forcing. And now it seems like I'm just going to try to refuel with my Portent. Not going to be able to really do... Not going to be able to, like, net draw and cast something for free, but hopefully this is a draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Portent was a card when during like spoiler season, I was really like skeptical about. Like I had like this idea that it would play in this way, pitching the Force, card draw mid game, win the game in the late game. But I can't remember the last time I was so like kind of unsure about like this kind of thing. But I'm glad that it's been actually like seeming to be a playable modern card. So it looks like I'm a mana short of Talisman and Ring this turn. costs 10, 3, 5, 6. The way we're running, we're going to find an all is this turn. Just, there was never any doubt. Also, Athena is... Oh, thank you, Esther. It's raining, so Athena has to be in here, she says. Doesn't it cost 9? K command has 2 types. Yeah, it does. I'm counting that as a type. We have we just had instant kindred and sorcery. All right, it's Talisman turn, I guess. I guess I should probably hold up K command X equals 2 and Otawara instead of playing the third talisman though. Yeah, I clearly re-upped my MTGO premium subscription today. You played their land, right? Yeah. Just do this now instead of doing like the whole mana floating dance. I'm down to 14. If I draw an Ulamog, I'm going to exile my own ring. This is 8, 4, so 4 plus, I have 10 mana, so not actually enough to K command into Ulamog and cast it, I guess. So let's just go Talisman into Emrakul. Okay, so we're on the draw against another Gigantha. I think it's kind of interesting because we have All Is Dust and we have Tamiyo to like slow them down. I'm going to click the mulligan button and I'm going to click it again and go to 4. So, okay, so we do have Archway plus Story Circle, but that is a lot worse when we have a multi-4. It does seem like I am going to be trying to... I was going to be trying to correct clues off the meets the Story Circle. Let's try this. I might do something like just hold this Tamiyo for like a turn if I feel like that'll give me enough cards to discard. So if I hold, so I'll just play Archway turn 1 and then we'll kind of go from there, I guess. I also do need a blue source, which is a bit of a problem, although that's a blue source. So let's say I discarded Ugin's Lab, card I draw here, then card I draw here. So that's 6 Improvise. Am I missing subtlety at all? No, I've been pretty low on subtlety in general. I drew Island. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a turn so I can discard 1 extra card. Again, on a mold of 4, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But there's a chance that like we end up drawing like the ring and we can improvise that out and then that can draw us into what we actually use to win the game. I've been playing a ton of Jessica Troll, been liking Leyland Binding. The mana is really tough. I think you want to play Zoggoth over Indatha and 2 copies of Mystic Gate. I switched to Indatha for a bit, and it was really awkward not being able to get off Lrien. Okay, yeah, if you're on Lrien, then I agree. I agree that you should be on Zoggoth instead. Makes sense. Seems like I can play the Eldrazi Temple out. It's worth 2 mana, right, for the big stuff. Might as well play Tamiyo Chapter 1, right? Well, I thought I made this clear, but I am waiting a turn so I can discard an extra card, which can give me, like, it just gives me enough juice to actually be able to do my stuff. On a multi-4, like, We just needed to discard more cards. How many energy decks have I faced this league? I think this is my second. Just don't play Lrien Easy Fix. Yeah, I don't know that I would play Lrien Revealed. Oh, that's tough. Yeah, I don't know that I would play Lrien Revealed in the deck. But if you are playing Lrien Revealed, I agree. Zoggoth Triumph is better. It's also like kind of, it's just pretty close in general. You know, you also can't get your Sacred Foundry off Lrien Revealed, which you need to like complete domain. That could also be an issue. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'll have Emrakul will cost 10, and then I'll have 8 mana for it. So if I was on a mold of 5 instead of a mold of 4, we could cast an Emrakul and like Goblin Bombardment them down. We're on a mold of 4, so we're dead. Now we're on the play this time, so no Gemstone Caverns coming in. I like 3 Force of Negations. Let's go ahead and stick to that number. I think I'm actually gonna go down to 1 Ulamog. I think Ulamog is kind of the weak link. I'm gonna go down to 1 Portent also. Trim some of the top end, especially when we're bringing in all these Allah's Dusts. Man, energy may be super beatable, but it's so ubiquitous that it's annoying. Every game is the same. Yeah, we'll see. I kind of haven't been minding it so much. I kind of almost can sense maybe a little bit of a shift in the metagame coming. I don't know if any energy players feel like they're getting farmed or not, but I at the very least feel like some decks I'm playing, I'm just farming them. We'll see. Zoggoth is 100% the play. Your Triumph not tapping for... Sorry, I can't read the next word. Blue is a really big deal in a lot of matchups. I think that's true too. I mean, what I liked about Indoth the Triumph is that it could cast Flage. But it's certainly could be the case. Zoggoth is better. Eldrazi dominated the RCQ this weekend. It's good to know. Y'all want to keep turn 2 ring? We could mulligan to strengthen ourselves. Any recent work on Seamless? I have been. I have not. I'm not sure where I want to be because I don't love Saga at the moment. I don't love Subtlety, and so I don't really know what I want to do with like the ring build. I kind of want to play like the non-ring Basim build with like Psychic Frog and potentially Tasigur, and I kind of want to try to tune that list some. Just have a very, very low curve, but I'm not 100% sure on some of like the card choices there. So I am working on it, and I'm a little unsure on the card choices is the summary there. Xander Spar is the other option. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the your Triumph domain split is always like such a headache. I think I would probably just go Zoggoth Sacred after hearing some of the arguments in chat. I think I'm just playing Ring over Kozilek's Command. Both options are awesome. Not hitting our land drop hurts very bad here. I really hope Modern ends up with energy as a pillar of the format. Any format with a fair deck as the best deck is usually very good. I agree with this. I like, for me, like I'm getting very big deja vu to like when Murktide was the best deck in Modern. Everyone was like the amount of like tweets and YouTube videos and Twitch comments. Oh, okay, bad sequencing. Tweets and YouTube videos and Twitch comments about like energy as an archetype, or sorry, Murktide as an archetype, and how Ragavan was too good, and how this deck is too good, and how this deck is miserable. I felt like such the opposite when Murktide. I felt like that was like just a wonderful time when all you had to do was like be good against Murktide. Boy, was it easy to be good against Murktide back then. And I kind of am getting pretty similar vibes with the whole like energy deck as the deck to beat now. Shouldn't they have let that ring die? Well, if they let this ring die, then I get to draw an extra card, so it's a bit awkward. think Zogoth has the issue though, even though Jeskai wants blue, Island is the worst land of the deck. The Triumph is basically an island. So that's the argument for Xander's plus Sparez, but then the problem with that is, you have the extra tap land. There's really just a problem with however you do the Triumphs, and like this conversation is always pretty tough because there's like not really a right answer. So they're gonna ritual here so they can jump the Ocelot Pride to trigger the Guide of Souls. And that's okay, because we're going to really pop off next turn. Yeah, we get to improvise this Kozilek's command for a ton. I'm sure someone asked, but no place for Minamo. You can play Minamo. I think that Otawara is a bit more important to like bounce permanents, and I want to have 4 basic islands for Lrien Revealed, 4 basic islands. Also, like, basic island makes Archway enter untapped, so it's like kind of important to play like I think 4 of those. I guess we'll just improvise the Portent actually. So I think that you could play the Benamo, but I think I just wanted the 4th island over it. I don't know where you'd cut otherwise. All right. Go big or go home, as they say. Oh, did I not spend a blue? Yeah, once again, I gotta talk to Esther. Okay, I may have to end the stream early. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna attack with the Ragavan here. Gonna finish at least this match. I may. There's a little bit. There's a family emergency. I don't know if I may finish the stream because we can't. Esther can't leave until like 3, anyways. But I may also leave earlier. Okay, so we get to Allah's Dust into Portent and crush them. I'm gonna shuffle Kozilek's command, Portent. I don't know if it matters that much. Well, it's my first time tapping the ring to improvise. What can't this thing do? Kinda can't attack? What? What are we still playing this game, I guess? I will get protection from everything, I guess. Attack them next turn. Although I suppose they get to escape the Flage and they get to survive for another turn. Still can't really lose. Was there a previous version of this deck using Mindslaver? No. Like, the problem with Mindslaver, I suppose, would be that you can't improvise the activation cost, you know? If we hadn't hit ring, we could have attacked theoretically. Yeah, sure. Also, I was really digging for the Ulamog, but couldn't find it. We'll find it here, like for sure off the Portent. Although I guess the problem, I don't want to deck myself with Portent because the rest of the cards do go to the graveyard, not into exile. So I guess we should Kozilek's Command instead. I do still have one Ulamog in, I did leave an Ulamog in the deck. Okay. So let's spawn, scry, draw. Not going to be drawing off the ring. So if the Ulamog is in the bottom two, it gets a little weird. Maybe I could have tapped the talismans. Okay. Alright, I'll just keep a ring then. Or maybe it's in the yard or something. I need to double check. What's under the Labyrinth? At Emrakul. Is it not? Yeah, I guess it just is in the bottom two. It's okay though. We'll just, play the ring and then we will draw into the Ulamog next turn. Yeah, we could bottom all to 50-50 draw, but they also just can't beat me. Pro everything again, then we're still 50-50 to draw Ulamog next turn. Okay, going to game 3. Do you believe not even one Ugin's Binding could replace a blue spell like Stupor? Seems better in Rumble builds. Okay, this is not a blue spell. This is a blue land. This is like, there's been a lot of like talks about the MDFCs as if they're spells lately. I view them as just utility lands. I would basically never want to play a 3-mana instant over a Sink into the Stupor because they do not occupy the same like space in deck building at all in my mind. So this is a turn 2 Chalice with 1, which is pretty slow on the draw. Pathway with no Tamiyo means the Sword Circle, but we do have outs of drawing it. I'm going to go to Mulligan, what is ultimately a pretty borderline hand. This hand certainly looks a lot stronger with the ability to go turn 1 Chalice on 2. And I guess we're supposed to just put back Force of Negation. I would love to keep this Force of Negation, though. Can't you Portent for 6 to like cast Ulamog for? Yeah, we could have cast Ulamog there. Honestly, the ring is better. Okay, right on time, Gemstone. And really, we were in a kind of an unlosable situation, so I did stumble around a little bit there, but mostly because we had too many options that we could never lose. Just garbage time. Yeah, I know the line. I know the line of stack your deck with Kozilek's Command and then Portent, but I'm not just here trying to content create. I'm trying to whenever we're in garbage time, I just try to keep the show on the road. I know that we can't lose in that situation, but I'm not trying to just drag it out for the sake of dragging it out. So like a lot of times when we're in garbage time, I take slightly suboptimal lines with the intention of speeding up the stream. Is always my intended purpose. Hopefully they hit a 1-drop here, or a 3-drop. Said they hit a stomp. That's not so bad, I guess. They haste the Bone Crusher here. So I'm going to hit for 6 down to 12. Then we get to play the ring. And it's nice to not worry about the card Lightning Bolt so much, but they still obviously have Flays for reach. Another Stomp would be pretty dang bad. Let's save the Labyrinth. I think that it could certainly be correct to imprint the Lab this turn, because if we draw like Kozilek's Command, Eldrazi Temple, but that's maybe just a narrow enough range to not worry so much about. Next turn we can Portent X equals 5, which is pretty likely to hit. I think we're like probably like 50-60% to hit. Oh no. Didn't find another Force of Negation. It's Blood Moon and not Harbinger of the Tides. So we're gonna need a Talisman, and we, our life total is under a lot of pressure. Well, it's maybe it. What's important CMC in the stack? It doesn't get countered by Chalice. I'm sure that's what you're asking. I'm worried about Blood Moon, so I liked holding there. You liked not casting the ring this turn to like sink into the Stupor of Blood Moon on the stack? That doesn't seem like a winning line. Just take 6? I'm a little confused. If this had been a 7-card hand, we would have been able to force the Blood Moon. Alright, dead. I like not playing the Labyrinth. Yeah, sure. Okay, so a narrow miss on the trophy. We have some bad news there. I also got some very bad news from Esther earlier, and I am not going to be able to...